What's up everybody, Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming here with another video, and it's another Dragon Ball game related video, this time on Dragon Ball The Breakers. Now, it's its first year anniversary. It was released October 14th, 2022, and we've been hit with an era in multiplayer gaming known as the one versus many type scenario, where it could be playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, Dead by Daylight, Dragon Ball Breakers, games like that where you are having to be one player who's the dominant, either a monster, alien, something, to wipe out the surviving team to prevent survivors from escaping, or in certain games survivors can fight you back and kill you. Now, when Dragon Ball Breakers was first announced, nobody had really any faith going into this game. It was just a run-of-the-mill, oh, you could have just added this into Xenoverse 2 as, either a paid expansion or just a free update. But the game wasn't expensive when it came out. I paid at least $30 for it. I still say this game was worth maybe only $25, but with the improvements that it has done, let's take a look at the game today. Now, I haven't played it in a little over 6 to 7 months actually. So now I'm getting back into it because yes, I fell off playing this game, getting into Xenoverse 2 again and getting myself as far as I did, as you've seen in those videos. But with Breakers, now that I'm playing it more and more, it's fun without your friends, which is weird, but it's one of those games where it would be even better if you were with your friends. If there's one thing that this game has over Xenoverse 2 and over any other, what do you call these kind of games? Asymmetrical? No, that's not asymmetrical, is it? Whatever. The one versus many type scenario. In this game right here, though, it feels wholly unique because the tide of the battle or the tide of survival or anything is actually very unpredictable. What do I mean by that? Well, they just added Baby Vegeta recently, and this game has been going on through seasons. We are currently on what is called Season 6, which is with Baby Vegeta. Though there is no Baby Vegeta gameplay shown in my video here, I can explain to you what he does when I get to the section of talking about playing as the Raiders, playing as the Survivors, but overall telling you, should you be interested in this game? And if you love Xenoverse 2, will you love the Breakers? That's something that I hope I can answer for you by telling you all about Dragon Ball The Breakers. Now, I've already done a review on this game early on, so think of this as also kind of like a review, but also explaining to you guys what makes it a unique Dragon Ball game. So, you get to transform. Let me tell you one of my favorite features in this game over Xenoverse 2. Playing as a human character, a survivor, and when you're dropped into the world in this game, you can power yourself up to play as different characters from all across the Dragon Ball universe. And I'm talking about within the canon. I'm not talking about heroes or anything of that sort. Anything within the current canon or non-canon, such as original filler content, GT, movie characters, and so on. You will be dropped, though, before you even start a game, you'll be dropped into like a little mini hub world. And of course, it's no Canton City from Xenoverse 2, but it does the job well enough in what it needs. There's a shop, there's a little gym, and there is what is called getting your character spheres. Getting it from the sphere device. It's a gotcha machine, and sadly I hate to have to say it like it is. That's the only invasive thing about Dragon Ball The Breakers, because you could practically level up and get what you need and do what you need on your own without investing any money into the TP medals. But if you're that kind of person that wants to boost and get ahead, then yes, that option is there for you. I've invested in it a couple times. I spent maybe like $20, but it did get me a good value of characters that I wanted, and characters that I didn't know about. The one thing about this game, though, is it does let you experiment with different builds as a survivor and as a raider. And you also get these points, these fury points, that help you level up your skills in the field. Trust me, when you start off the game, it's going to hit you with a serious learning curve. But once you play the game and master it by its rules, you will see progress, even if you don't play with the teammates. Like, have your own friends to play with. If you just play with random people, everybody in this game does seem to work well together. If that's one thing I can say that about any survival type game, where you're surviving online against another opponent, this game right here, people can communicate with each other with just emotes. If you don't want to talk with them via the mic, and the symbols they use are very easy to understand. Now, how the game functions is you're going to play the Raider and the Survivor. Now, the way to play as the Raider, it's very complicated because it also suffers from one thing all these survival games playing as. Everybody wants to play the boss. Everybody wants to play like the killer, the slasher, the big bad guy, things like that. So wait times are ridiculous. You'll get into a match faster as a survivor than you will as a raider. But when you do play as a raider, it does feel really good. But first, let's get into how do you fit into the role of being a survivor in this game. Now, look at it at the perspective of the average one of us. Not many of our friends are going to want to play this game unless you chuck up the funds and get them all together. But playing this on your own in this perspective is always be mindful of your surroundings. Always search for as many items as you can. Because the one thing you need to do is get these power-ups that will be in the field, whether it be able to revive you like a Zensu bean. Helping civilians, NPC civilians, would also give you these power bricks to help power up your character so you can eventually transform into a character you chose, whether your character is inspired by Piccolo, Vegeta, Gohan, Trunks, Goten, Videl, or hell, even the villains like Cell, Frieza, Boo, and Baby, and Goku Black. Things like that give you so much experimentation as a survivor, because it also gives you the one thing you can't do in any other survival games, is fight the opponent back. And I'm not talking about with traps like Dead by Daylight or the specific way of doing it in Friday the 13th, which took a lot of people to figure out. You can get weapons like rocket launchers. You can even get the Dragon Balls, which can give you a bonus of either having unlimited health, unlimited energy, or disperse energy amongst yourself and your teammates to all be able to take on the villain. Now, don't get me wrong, the trade-off is the villain can also use the Dragon Balls to make themselves invincible. But if you're not doing all that, what are you doing? You're getting these keys to unlock the time travel machine to get everyone out. Now, the course of the match can change where if the villain stops you from using the keys, well, guess what? Trunks sends in emergency time machines to try to get you out. So at that point, it becomes every man for himself, and that's when the raider can really start going in. And a match can be determined whether you're dealing with a really good raider or a shitty raider. It also depends on your survival rate. Now, I've died plenty of times, but I've also survived plenty of times. It's just depending what build you use against the raider, because yes, even the raiders themselves, every player can also have a different build with a raider, using the different villains such as Cell, Goku Black, and currently Baby Vegeta, who has a unique playstyle. I wish I got footage for him, because his playstyle really actually brings a sense of, for a Dragon Ball game, fear. Baby Vegeta is one of the scariest raiders in this game. Now, when you go down, you have 2 tries. If you have a recovery device, if a player picks you back up, or if you use a Sensu Bean. But if they can't get you back in time, sadly you will get told to either do you want to spectate or withdraw from the match. Sometimes I stay and watch so I can know where I messed up and see the kind of play styles that my opponent is doing, but I know every character will be different. Now, on to the next topic, the raiders. Now, there are a handful of fucking raiders in this game, and characters you didn't think would be good in the character select, like Nappa, Raccoon, Cybermen. Yes, every raider in this game goes through different stages of evolution to make them stronger, and it's very unique. For like example, Cell, you start off in the lava form, make your way to his first form, then his bulky form, then Perfect Cell. Broly, he has an advantage because he automatically starts in his rage form, then you work yourself to Super Saiyan, then to his full powered Super Saiyan, where it's just basically anybody that stands in your way is going to get freaking bulldozed. But that is not without its caveats. Here's the thing. If you're dealing with a team of really good survivors, they can fight you back. If they work as a team, and if you're heavily underleveled, or if you don't have the necessary skills equipped, you can be defeated very early on, and the survivors can get away. Now, I don't know if every villain in the game is tailored by how difficult they are to use. I believe they are. And for example, if you don't know what I mean by that, it's like when certain online games tell you, are you capable of fighting a character at this level, or that you should be a bit stronger before you go in, or in Overwatch, it tells you how difficult or easy or intermediate it is to use on a different character. Now, this game doesn't necessarily tell you that, you just have to play the characters for yourselves. There are some raiders I'm better with and some that I am not. I mean, I'm still mastering Broly, and I'm also now trying to jump in using Baby Vegeta, because Baby Vegeta, though I have no gameplay to show you of him, Baby Vegeta brings a new sense of fear and paranoia to the game. And what do I mean by that is, you don't know who can be infected with Baby Vegeta. If this player is jumping from person to person, building up their power, it fits very much in line. Now, the one thing I wish this game would have done is given it more modes. Like, you can do a pretty not competitive, but you can have like a little rumble mode where all the players are playing as different characters, or they take the shape of different characters and there's a bunch of raiders, and then you just fight to the death to see who stands still, or to see who is still standing. That would be really cool, but for now it's just going still with the basics. Survive against the opponent, or play as the raider and kill everybody. Though the only thing that makes it unique is that it's done with the Dragon Ball license. And I've said before that certain games can be similar or just straight rips of other games, but it also depends if the license is unique to it. Like Terminator Resistance, for example. That's basically a Far Cry knockoff, but with Terminator. South Park. South Park the game. Really good license, fit for an RPG. It's stuff like that. And Breakers is a unique Dragon Ball game. It is not the best Dragon Ball game, by no means. I still put other Dragon Ball Z games above it. But when it comes to playing in a multiplayer type of environment that's not a fighting game like Fighters, that's not an MMO like Xenoverse 2, Breakers feels like that kind of game that you could just easily get in. And when you get into going in, you know, if you get your groove of surviving or playing as the raider, it can be very fun. But that all depends if you invested in enough time to actually make your character strong enough to survive or strong enough to eliminate everyone. And another thing I have to say about this game is that I wish it did better with this episodes scenario. It's supposed to be like a little stories each episode, but they should have just made it a single player mode to give people a chance to play against the different raiders and play as different survivors so they can know what builds to take into an online. But Dragon Ball The Breakers, again, not a bad game. It's a very fun game. It should have just came out a little bit cheaper. I wish that they could fix some of his issues, because there is still issues with the game that I cannot deny, but yet it's still a very fun game to play. And there's a lot of games that people could say are bad or not well received, but they're fun to the people that it is made for. So I'm still going to play Dragon Ball Breakers. Do you have Dragon Ball Breakers? Have you thought about getting it? Waiting for it on sale? I would honestly say, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, give it a shot. It might surprise you, and it'll at least give you something to play in between waiting for Sparking Zero. Be sure to like, subscribe, favorite, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.